A wealthy, entitled millionaire belittled his maid's dreams until the day she appeared as the new owner of the mansion next door. "Do you really believe you could ever own a place like this?" boomed the voice of Maxwell Reed, the notoriously spoiled heir from the grand marble entryway of his vast estate. His eyes burned with disdain as he towered over Lily Turner, the housemaid standing nervously before him. The difference between them was striking. Maxwell was tall and broad, while Lily was small and slender, wearing her simple uniform, her hands roughened by years of labor. She stood firm, fists clenched at her sides to steady herself. "I don't see why not," Lily answered quietly, her voice soft yet filled with determination. "Everyone should be allowed to dream, Mr. Reed." Maxwell let out a cruel, scornful laugh that echoed off the marble columns. "A dream? That's rich coming from someone who scrubs floors for a living," he sneered, waving her off as if she were invisible. Lily's heart sank. She had known Maxwell's reputation. Everyone in Fairpoint knew him as the arrogant son of one of the wealthiest families, but she hadn't expected such open cruelty. Just then, Veronica Reed, Maxwell's elegant mother, descended the grand staircase, her evening gown shimmering under the chandelier light. She was preparing for the charity gala they were hosting that night. Noticing the tension, Veronica called out, "Maxwell, darling, you'll be late for your toast. The guests are waiting." She gave Lily a fleeting, worried glance, clearly no stranger to her son's temper. Maxwell rolled his eyes, grabbed a glass of champagne from a passing tray, and strode off without another word. Lily exhaled shakily, but she knew the night's indignities weren't over. As she arranged fresh bouquets in the crystal vases lining the hallways, she overheard the wealthy guests boasting about fortunes and properties, with Maxwell loudly bragging about the real estate empire his family commanded. In that moment, Lily felt every bit the outsider, an invisible worker among glittering elites. But deep down, she clung to her old dream. One day, owning a home where she and her younger sister could live safely and freely. It was a simple wish, yet Maxwell had mocked it like it was foolishness. Later that night, after the last guest had departed, Lily was scrubbing the floor beneath the grand piano in the lavish music room. The soft light from the chandelier glinted off the polished surfaces, and Lily paused briefly, running her fingers over the intricate designs on the marble. She inhaled deeply, grounded herself in the memory of why she worked so hard. A soft voice broke the stillness. "Lily." She turned to find Veronica Reed standing in the doorway, her expression filled with sincere concern. "Yes, ma'am," Lily responded, standing up, claw still in hand. "I heard what happened earlier. I'm deeply sorry for my son's behavior," Veronica said gently, her voice tinged with sadness. After a pause, she added, "Take the rest of the night off. You've done more than enough. And Lily, don't ever let someone like Maxwell kill your dreams." The kindness in her words nearly brought Lily to tears. With a trembling smile, she thanked Veronica and made her way out across the massive marble floors toward her modest room above the garage. Outside, beneath the starlit sky, a flicker of hope ignited inside her. Maybe in another life, she could overcome all these barriers. She held on to that feeling tightly as she drifted to sleep, vowing not to let Maxwell's cruelty crush her spirit. That night marked a turning point in Lily's life. She had always known working for the Reed family was temporary, a way to save money, to support her sister, to learn from the wealthy world she one day hoped to join. But Maxwell's scorn had lit a fire in her. She refused to accept a life limited to scrubbing floors and serving champagne. While the mansion slept, Lily made a promise to herself. No matter how far-fetched her dreams seemed, she would chase them. She would show Maxwell Reed and the world that big dreams belong to everyone, no matter where they start. And so began an extraordinary journey that would test her will, change her destiny, and lead her to a future she never dared to imagine. Lily woke to the soft chorus of birdsong just outside her small window. For a moment, she stayed in bed, replaying the scene with Maxwell from the day before. Normally, she would bury such painful moments under the weight of her daily chores. But this time felt different. Something inside her had changed. Her resolve, once quiet and timid, had hardened like tempered steel. Pulling herself upright, Lily faced a new day with a fierce sense of purpose. She had duties to complete, and she took pride in doing them with excellence. After dressing in her crisp uniform, she made her way into the main house. The grand foyer still bore the aftermath of last night's gala: abandoned champagne flutes, scattered confetti, and drooping floral arrangements. Lily got to work cleaning, her hands moving with steady precision even as her mind wandered to larger dreams. Fortunately, Maxwell was nowhere in sight, though faint murmurs from his office suggested he was busy, likely making more deals or buying up even more properties. There were whispers around Fairpoint that Maxwell was determined to dominate Lakeview Drive, snapping up every luxury home just outdo an old family rival. Lily forced herself not to dwell on it. Imagining him flaunting his wealth only fueled her irritation. Later that afternoon, as she was dusting the ornate frames in the gallery, Veronica Reed appeared silently at her side. Her evening gown brushed softly against the polished floors as she approached. "Lily," she said gently, "I'd like to offer you something." Startled, Lily turned carefully on the step stool, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Veronica held out a small pamphlet, an announcement for a local business development workshop. "This might interest you," Veronica offered, handing it over. Lily scanned the flyer. It advertised a free seminar on starting a small business, hosted by the Fairpoint Community Center. A flutter of excitement stirred in Lily's chest. She had never thought of herself as an entrepreneur, but she had always believed in her ability to learn and work hard. "Thank you, ma'am," Lily said, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. Veronica smiled warmly, her expression softening as though she saw a reflection of her younger self in Lily's hopeful face. "I truly hope it helps," she said, gently squeezing Lily's hand. "You deserve more than being mocked for having ambition." Over the next few weeks, Lily balanced her regular duties with attending the seminar sessions. She absorbed lessons about business planning, budgeting, marketing, and the importance of building strong relationships. Each new piece of knowledge fueled her dreams even further. At night, she would retreat to her modest room above the garage, her notebook filled with ideas and strategies. Meanwhile, Maxwell remained blissfully unaware of her growing ambitions, too occupied boasting about his property acquisitions at grand dinners. Once or twice, Lily crossed paths with him, and each time he couldn't resist a jab. "Still here," he would sneer. "If you're so certain you'll own a mansion, shouldn't you be off doing bigger things?" But Lily never took the bait. She simply smiled politely and carried on, confident that her bigger things were already taking root. Quietly but surely, she kept her dreams guarded. If Maxwell ever found out, he might try to crush them before they could fully bloom. One evening, Lily took her determination a step further. After completing her chores, she slipped downtown to attend a special event, a pitch night for aspiring entrepreneurs. Heart-pounding, she climbed onto a small stage and presented her idea, a premium housekeeping agency tailored specifically to Fairpoint's wealthy elite. She spoke passionately, drawing from her first-hand experience of what affluent households expected. Her vision was clear: a service marked by professionalism, discretion, and excellence, unlike anything the town had seen before. Though the audience was small, her words resonated. A local bank representative approached her afterward, impressed enough to discuss the possibility of a small business loan. As Lily left the community center that night, she felt a new lightness in her step, as if a whole new world had opened before her. Even Maxwell's sneering presence back at the mansion couldn't dim her spirits. She could now envision a day when she would walk away from his estate forever, head high, dreams intact. Still, Lily knew that dreams alone wouldn't carry her. The road ahead would be long and uncertain. She would need grit, resilience, a bit of luck, and maybe even a few unexpected allies along the way. Within just a few months, Lily's dream began to inch closer to reality. By day, she diligently fulfilled her duties at the Reed Mansion. By night, she built a future Maxwell Reed could never have imagined. Late nights and new beginnings. Night after night, Lily stayed up drafting business proposals, her determination growing stronger with each passing day. Quietly but steadily, she built a small network of trusted contacts, former maids, chauffeurs, and service workers, who shared her vision of a more dignified approach to employment in Fairpoint's wealthy homes. Meanwhile, Maxwell spiraled deeper into his obsession with outshining his family rival. His need to prove himself led to increasingly reckless financial moves, buying up property after property at an alarming pace. His acquisitions became the centerpiece of his life, and he frequently hosted extravagant gatherings just to boast about his growing empire. Veronica grew more and more concerned about her son's reckless spending, but Maxwell dismissed her worries with arrogant confidence, certain that his fortune would never run dry. One afternoon, Lily was finishing up polishing the silverware in the dining hall when Maxwell stormed in, his phone gripped tightly in his manicured hand. "Where's my mother?" he barked, his eyes wild with fury. "She stepped out, sir," Lily answered cautiously. "She said she'd be back this evening." "Ridiculous!" Maxwell snapped, pacing the length of the table. "I told her we needed to discuss an urgent matter about my next purchase." He turned his glare toward Lily. "I know you talked to her. If you see her, tell her I'm not playing games." Lily raised an eyebrow slightly, but kept her tone respectful. "Of course, sir." "Don't of course, sir me," he shouted, anger surging again. "And what do you know about anything, anyway? You're just a housemaid, sweeping up crumbs. I bet you don't even have 2 pennies to rub together." Lily felt a sting of humiliation, but stood her ground. "I may not have your wealth, Mr. Reed," she said calmly, "but I've worked for everything I have." Her composed reply cut deeper than any insult, and Maxwell's ego flared. "Ha!" he jeered. "Keep dreaming, Lily. Waste your time if you want, but it'll get you nowhere." He stormed off, leaving the air thick with tension. Lily stood in the silence, swallowing her hurt. She refused to let his cruelty break her. She was building something real, something Maxwell couldn't even imagine. Later that evening, her phone rang urgently. It was a bank representative who had shown interest in her business plan. Heart pounding, she slipped into her small garage apartment to take the call. "Miss Turner," the man said, "the board is reviewing your loan request, but they're asking for more detailed financial documents and a full market analysis. They also recommend providing personal collateral to strengthen your application." Lily's fingers tightened around the phone. "My savings are small. All I have is my car and a little money in the bank," she admitted. "That might not be enough," he warned gently. "Maybe consider finding a co-signer, someone who believes in your business and can back your application." "Thank you," Lily murmured before ending the call, a heavy feeling settling over her. She looked around her modest room, her gaze landing on a framed photo of her younger sister, Alana, who was studying in another city. Ever since their parents had passed, Lily had promised to support Alana's education, no matter the cost. Now, seeing her dreams slip away because of financial barriers felt like a cruel twist of fate. Determined not to give up, Lily made a difficult choice. The next evening after dinner, she approached Veronica in the library, where the older woman sat by the fireplace, reviewing estate documents. "Mrs. Reed," Lily began, her voice steady but nervous, "I need to ask a favor." Veronica looked up from her papers, removing her glasses. "What is it, my dear?" Lily explained her plan, halting at times but finding strength in her vision. She shared her idea for a housekeeping agency, the loan she was close to securing, and a new obstacle, the need for collateral or a co-signer. When she finally asked Veronica for help, her heart pounded in her chest. Veronica stayed quiet for a moment, her eyes reflecting deep thought. Finally, she said, "I've seen your work ethic, Lily. I know your character. I would be honored to support you." She paused, her expression turning serious. "However, my assets are tied up in my late husband's estate. I'll need to speak with my lawyer and review my finances carefully." Relief and gratitude surged through Lily. "Thank you, Mrs. Reed. I don't even know what to say." Veronica smiled kindly and raised a hand. "I believe in you, Lily. And if this plan doesn't work, we'll find another way." For the first time in a long while, Lily cried, not out of despair, but from overwhelming gratitude. The firelight flickered warmly around them, and in that quiet space, Lily felt a shift in the universe. The road ahead would still be long and uncertain, but she no longer had to walk it alone. In the weeks that followed, Veronica discreetly worked with her legal advisors to figure out a way to co-sign Lily's loan, without alerting Maxwell. Meanwhile, the mansion buzzed with whispers about Veronica's newfound secretiveness. Amid constant meetings and calls, Maxwell's paranoia began to grow. He sensed something was happening behind his back, but was too absorbed in finalizing yet another real estate deal to look into it deeply. Meanwhile, Lily continued fulfilling her daily duties, all the while quietly laying the groundwork for her upcoming business, which she had decided to name Dreamscape Home Services, a title that reflected her firm belief that dreams should be accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. She had already built strong relationships with skilled yet undervalued home service professionals across Fairpoint. Her future team was made up of individuals passionate about their craft and eager for a workplace that treated them with dignity. One late afternoon, Lily found Veronica by a grand window overlooking the mansion's pristine gardens. Veronica's face was a mixture of triumph and reflection. As Lily approached, she extended a document toward her, her hand trembling slightly. "Congratulations, Lily," Veronica whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "The bank approved the loan, and it's a generous amount, more than enough to launch your dream." Lily exhaled shakily, clutching the document as if it were the most precious thing in the world. "I don't even know how to thank you," she said, tears welling up. Veronica gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. "Make your dream a reality. That's all the thanks I need." That night, under a brilliant moonlit sky, Lily returned to her modest quarters, her heart soaring. She thought of Alana, of the secure future she could now help create for her sister. After so many years of serving others, Lily was finally stepping forward to lead her own journey. But with every major shift comes turbulence. Maxwell's reckless habits were catching up with him. As the real estate market took a downturn, the banks, once eager to fund his ventures, began demanding proof of liquidity. Struggling to keep up with his lavish lifestyle and aggressive expansions, Maxwell found himself drowning in debt. Desperate late-night calls echoed through the mansion, filled with anger and fear. Staff whispered that foreclosures threatened his properties, and a lawsuit alleging shady business practices was gaining traction. Yet, Maxwell's pride blinded him. Rather than scale back or seek advice, he isolated himself, severing ties with his father's trusted advisors. Finally, the inevitable happened. Maxwell was forced to sell significant portions of the portfolio. News of his downfall splashed across Fairpoint's financial pages. Maxwell reads Empire in jeopardy. The mansion grew heavy with tension, and the situation boiled over when Maxwell discovered that Veronica had quietly co-signed Lily's business loan. Bursting into Veronica's study, he shouted, "How could you do this without telling me? You're using resources meant for our family's legacy." Veronica, composed but firm, met his anger head-on. "I made the choice because Lily deserved a chance. You've squandered fortunes on reckless endeavors. She's building something genuine, something lasting." Maxwell's face contorted with rage. "This is betrayal," he spat. "No," Veronica replied, steady as ever. "This is a reminder that the world doesn't revolve around your ambitions." She dismissed him with a wave of her hand. Furious, Maxwell stormed out, his ego bruised. In the hallway, he locked eyes with Lily. For a moment, she held his gaze, no longer the meek servant he once humiliated. Taken aback, Maxwell scoffed and pushed past her, muttering under his breath. In the following weeks, Maxwell's decline accelerated. He was forced to sell his most prized asset, the sprawling mansion next door, once the crown jewel of Lakeview Drive. Letting go gutted him, but he had no choice. Meanwhile, Lily's dream was flourishing. Dreamscape Home Services officially launched, attracting high-profile clients impressed by her professionalism and discretion. Word of mouth spread quickly, aided by Veronica's introductions to Fairpoint's elite. Referrals poured in like a domino effect, but a surprising twist soon unfolded. An anonymous buyer submitted a full cash offer for the mansion next door, the very one Maxwell despised having to sell. Furious that he couldn't reclaim it, he demanded to know the identity of the buyer, but the deal was sealed before he could intervene. His realtor informed him that he needed to vacate any stored items immediately. Humiliated and seething, Maxwell watched from his window as moving trucks rolled down Lakeview Drive. Though curiosity gnawed at him, he refused to ask who the buyer was. The humiliation was already unbearable. Late one afternoon, unable to resist any longer, Maxwell wandered to the fence dividing the properties. Workers bustled about, unloading elegant furniture. Then, a sleek black car pulled into the driveway. Maxwell stared as the door opened. Out stepped a woman, poised, elegant, radiating confidence. He blinked in disbelief. It was Lily Turner, his former housemaid. Now wearing a tailored suit, her hair swept back, exuded an undeniable aura of success. "You!" Maxwell choked out, voice cracking. What is this?" Lily met his stunned gaze calmly. "I own this mansion now," she said, her voice even. "I'm moving in." Maxwell gaped like a fish out of water, struggling to find words. That's impossible. How could you possibly afford?" "Through hard work, perseverance, and a little help from those who believed in me," Lily replied, her voice cutting through the disbelief like a blade. She gave a small, dignified smile. "You mocked my dream once. Now look where we are." Maxwell's cheeks burned with anger and humiliation as he stood speechless, realizing the world he once controlled was no longer his. "You were crumbling, but you were just my housemaid," Maxwell stammered. Lily let out a soft, almost wistful laugh, not mocking, not proud, just honest. "You never saw me as anything more, did you? But I learned, I grew, and I built a business that's now serving some of the wealthiest families in Fairpoint. In fact, it was your mother who gave me the final encouragement I needed." Maxwell stared at her, completely speechless, overwhelmed by the dawning realization. He was the one left behind, his fortune unraveling while Lily moved forward. At that moment, Veronica Reed stepped out of Lily's new home and crossed the driveway, offering a polite smile. "Maxwell," she said briskly, before turning warmly to Lily, "need any help settling in?" "I think I have everything under control, Mrs. Reed," Lily replied graciously. "But thank you." Seeing his own mother so comfortable and supportive in Lily's new domain only deepened Maxwell's sense of loss and disbelief. Conflicting emotions raced across his face. Confusion, resentment, and perhaps buried deep, a touch of respect he never thought he'd feel. He instinctively stepped back, almost as if the reality hitting him was physically pushing him away. The next few days passed in a whirlwind. Lily settled into her new home, a true symbol of everything she had fought to achieve. She knew firsthand the effort needed to maintain such a grand property. But now, she could delegate many of the tasks to her carefully selected team, proud to show them that progress and success were within reach for anyone who dared to dream big. Across the fence, Maxwell's view of his new neighbor was a daily, painful reminder. No longer could he tower over Lily with harsh words and dismissive glances. Instead, he faced the wreckage of his own empire, while Lily rose gracefully into a life he once believed was reserved for men like him. Eventually, battered by reality and swallowed by pride, Maxwell made a decision. He went to Lily's door. A professional staff member welcomed him in, leading him to a bright, sun-drenched sitting room where Lily was quietly enjoying her tea. Maxwell hovered awkwardly, unsure of what to say. Setting her cup down, Lily looked up at him, her expression unreadable. Maxwell faltered. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry." A brief flicker of surprise crossed Lily's face, but she said nothing, waiting. "I never imagined you could achieve this," he admitted, struggling. "I was cruel. I was arrogant. You deserve so much more than an apology, but it's a start." For a moment, there was silence. Then Lily's gaze softened slightly. She gestured toward the seat across from her. "Apology accepted," she said kindly. "But the future is ours to build, Maxwell." He nodded, a heavy sigh escaping him. "I've lost almost everything I thought was permanent," he confessed. Lily offered a small, understanding smile. "I know how it feels when the path ahead seems blocked, but it's never too late to choose a different way forward." For the first time, a flicker of real hope appeared in Maxwell's eyes, a recognition of the strength, resilience, and grace standing before him. In that moment, Lily also felt a profound sense of closure. Her greatest victory wasn't just owning the mansion next door. It was proving that a resilient heart, fueled by dreams and kindness, could defy even the strongest odds. Her belief in herself had come full circle, a living, breathing testament for everyone, including Maxwell, to witness. And so ends the story of how a once arrogant millionaire underestimated his housemaid's dreams, only to watch her rise, not just as a homeowner, but as a symbol of perseverance, faith, and humility. If Lily's journey inspired you, remember, a dream supported by dedication can overcome even the tallest obstacles. Thank you for being part of this emotional journey. If you crave more uplifting stories and life-changing lessons, make sure to subscribe to the Soul Stirring Stories channel, where every tale is crafted to ignite the spirit and warm the heart. Never stop believing in your dreams.